Thanks to the support as a channel member, Josh Marwood. Only been given a transfer budget of £1 million, but want to spend 100 million plus in your first transfer window? That sounds like a job for Kev. Hello and welcome to part 2 of my FM21 beta save with Leicester. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, I'm going to show you through all of our summer transfers here at Leicester and play our first couple of games of the season. We're at home against Tottenham and away against Brighton. But first, I just wanted to start things off by saying a massive thank you for the incredible support that you showed on episode 1. As I record this, it's 9:30 on Wednesday morning. That video came out about 12 hours ago. I asked for 5,000 likes to get this video out for 11 a.m. I thought I was being very ambitious. I even said on stream last night that I'd be happy with 3,000. You smashed 5,000 before 9 a.m. within 12 hours. Here is your episode 2. Thank you for the support. Absolutely incredible stuff. Let's keep that going as well. And we need to offer something ridiculous. What can we offer? If you're still getting 3,000, we've dropped it. If we're still getting 3,000 likes an episode by part 10 of this, blue hair. We're Leicester. I think that's fair. Do we think that's fair? 3,000 likes. The reason I'm asking is because it really does help out the videos. Those of you who know the YouTube algorithm will know how important it is to get those likes early on. So if we can hit 5,000 again, it would be incredible. But really, we're looking for that 3,000 every episode between now and episode 10. And we'll, I don't even know how to go about doing it, but we'll figure it out. So let's get into the video. Anyway, as I mentioned in the intro, I have been very busy in the transfer market. You'll know from part 1 of the series that we only got £1 million to spend. But of course, we found ways to make sure we could spend way more than that. And also, you'll see we've sorted out the screen resolution stuff that was a little bit iffy in that first episode as well. But let's get into the transfers. Let's show you what we've done. We have spent some serious money. If we start off with the players that have left, we've had a little bit of a clear out. Daniel Amate's gone to Dynamo Moscow for 12 million. Wesley Fofana, who I know a lot of you were telling me this is the best defender at Leicester. This is the guy that I should be playing. That might be the case in real life. In game, he's 2.5 stars. He's got bags of potential, but he's not ready to come into the team now. So he's gone out on a season-long loan to play in Spain, where they're going to be paying his full wages. So that helps with budgeting stuff. Slimani's gone to Zenit for 4.9 million. Mendy to Zenit also for 8.25 million. Damari Gray has gone to Leipzig for 12.25 million. And we've also had to loan out Hamza Chowdhury because with players coming in, he got a little bit of a grumpy on that he'd fallen down the pecking order, demanded a transfer. Don't really want to sell him because he's got loads of potential. He's not going to be a first team, or wasn't going to be a first team for me this year, but didn't want to sell him, so we've loaned him out for the season to Everton. We'll worry about him again next summer. But now the ins, of which there are plenty. Obviously there was business done before I arrived, but we start from Emerson. We sold our left back to Chelsea. We've bought our new left back from Chelsea. I know he's a little bit of a downgrade on Chilwell, but we're not Chelsea, we're Leicester. Emerson comes in from Chelsea for £20 million, largely on the never, as a lot of these transfers are. So we've done a lot of instalment stuff. I don't know if we can see the structure of the transfers on here. We're basically paying very little up front and a lot of it over the next 3 years. Weirdly, when he came in, we had to send him on an intensive language course. Only has basic English, despite having played in England for the last 3 years, which is a little bit of a surprise. But he's going to come in, play left back for us. 26 years old, 8 caps for Italy. Seems like sensible business to me. Although maybe 20 million is a little bit of an overpayment. Divock Origi, a lot of you suggested doing this. This is a loan to buy deal. He's in on loan until the end of this season, but we have a transfer agreed. He's joining us for £18 million, I think it is, permanently next summer. In fact, we can look back here. £18.75 million to make Divock Origi's transfer permanent next summer. We wanted a proper backup to Jamie Vardy. I think we now have a backup to Jamie Vardy at 25 with 28 caps for Belgium and all that experience as a Liverpool reserve. He can now come in and be a Leicester reserve. Works for me. We needed a defender. Here we have one. Joaquin is 24-year-old Spanish defender. Centre-back, can also play defensive midfield or central midfield. We've really brought him in to provide cover in all those positions because we were a little bit light at defensive midfield, a little bit light at centre-back. He was dirt cheap. So I think he's a perfectly good squad player for us to draft in because our new centre-back is a bit of a football manager legend. He's always knocking about in these FM saves. Rodrigo Kiao. I never know how to say his name. Kiao. Let me know down in the comments. 27 years old, 4 Brazilian caps, a 3-star centre-back who can come in and fill the void that has been left by old man Wes Morgan, who we have taken out of our Premier League squad because we just can't justify having him in there at 36 years old. And then things got a little bit silly because this is when you can see this is when we started to get some money in from selling players. So we were able to splurge a little bit. Also on installments, Jonathan Ikone, 22-year-old French international right winger, striker, attacking midfield. We brought him in to play on that right-hand side where we were a little bit light. He comes in from, that's Lille, isn't it? Yeah, Lille. He comes in from Lille for £20 million, as I say, with a whole bunch of that on installments. And then possibly the most ridiculous transfer of all of them, Houssem Aouar. Again, names. Don't know how to say his name. He's 22, French under-21 international, 3.5-star current ability, 4-star potential, can play in that centre midfield or as an attacking midfielder. We've brought him in to be the Mazzala in our 4-3-3 system. He comes in from Lyon. So it's a bunch of players out. I think if you count the Origi transfer, we've spent about £110 million off an original budget of £1 million, whilst bringing in, 12, 17, 20, 25... I mean, we've brought in maybe £40 million off of players. The rest of the 110 million we've spent is abusing installments and loan to buys. Jose Mourinho has already called me financially irresponsible in the build up to this game against Tottenham, and our projection looks a little bit hideous. But we're having a gamble. We want to be winning the Premier League within a couple of years. The money from the Champions League will come with that. So we're rolling the dice, having a little bit of a gamble. If it doesn't pay off, we'll do a Leeds and end up in the Championship for goodness knows how many years. But it worked out for them in the end. They're back in the Premier League. Right, this is the team that we're putting out there for Tottenham. So very new look Leicester side. And we've got Schmeichel in goal, a back four of Emerson, Kiao. I don't know how to say his name either. Kagla Soyuncu. Please help me in the comments. Castagna at right back. Ricardo Pereira still not fit. He's not going to be fit for a little while, which is a couple of months for him, which is one of the reasons why it was so important to bring Emerson in long term. I imagine Castagna will play left back and Pereira comes in at right back. Maybe, unless Emerson's awesome. We then got Ndidi at the base of the midfield. Tielemans ahead of him. Aouar, as the Mazzala. And then a front three of Maddison as an inside forward on the left, Vardy up front, and new boy Ikone on the right-hand side. Origi has to make do with a starting spot from the bench on his arrival here at Leicester, but could come on for any of those front three, really. And also Joaquin's there as cover in these positions with some of our other players that we already had here when I arrived. So let's jump into the tactical meeting, which we're getting a tutorial. We don't need a tutorial. I've streamed this for like 5 hours now. We really don't need a tutorial. We're not going to go cautious. We're going to ignore the tactical meeting. We've already picked our team. So, yeah, I know how to submit the team. This isn't new. Let's just submit the team. Emerson and James Maddison are lacking match sharpness. How would we know with the icons? Is that what this means? Gaining sharpness, and he's lacking sharpness. So Maddison can actually only do 45 minutes. I actually think, in the interest of not breaking him, we might start Origi and bring Maddison on in that second half. I don't want to break James Maddison. I've got a bit of a reputation for ruining James Maddison after what happened in my Tottenham save last year. I don't want to ruin him again. Of course, now you're going to be saying, oh, look, Kev's in at Leicester, dropping James Maddison already, true to form. I know, but I don't want to break the poor boy. What are we going to do? Go out there, give the fans their money's worth. So let's pump our fists while we do that. And we've motivated Emerson, which is really what Team Talks are all about. And here we go for our first match action on YouTube on FM21. As I mentioned, I've already streamed a little bit of the game over on Twitch, and I'm going to be streaming there again tonight. So hold on, we need to fix this. This feels painfully slow. So if you wanna get involved in watching along on Twitch, make sure you're over there from around about 8 p.m. most evenings. We want to be on key highlights as well. I don't know why it's not kept my settings. We spent so long fiddling with these settings on Twitch last night, and now it's changed them all. And we'll leave that all as it is. This should be okay. Yeah, head over to Twitch. We're playing as Peterborough over there. We had a lot of fun last night. We're going to be streaming most nights throughout the beta, so make sure you come along, get involved in that. We had a lot of newcomers over on Twitch last night, and we had a lovely time. Right, here's a tip for you straight away. We discovered this on Twitch last night. This screen doesn't offer as much information as we normally would like. If you minimize this, all of a sudden, you get so much extra space for information. So we can set this up. We can put our league table in there. We can keep our latest scores on. We can now get... I want my team up here. So let's get us up there, because this shows both our fitness and our body language we discovered last night. So we get all the information we need off both of those. But then we can get more detailed match stats. We do have the match stats over here, but you get more detail on those match stats, which is nice. But I think what we'll do is we'll just put our stats, their stats, and I'm almost tempted to put theirs, set the body language, just to really get that, because I like to know the body language of my opposition. I want to see, I like to know when the time to punish them is. So by switching it up to that, all of a sudden, much more information. If you jump that back out again, you lose half of it. So it is important, if you want the extra information, to make sure you keep that minimized. Little FM21 tip for you. I think it only works if you're on a 1080p resolution or bigger. If you're on a slightly smaller resolution on a laptop screen, I don't think you get the option to do it. Similar to how we used to have the body language on there last year, because we're playing on a big screen, and we can squeeze a little bit more information on there because of that. Right, first corner of FM21, and it's cleared. Hopefully this isn't going to be the new way of the world. We were so dominant from set pieces throughout FM20. I've set up a basic corner tactic for now. It's a very simple, tallest defender at the near post, aim at him. There's nothing fancy gone on. But our tallest defender is the fella that's not the other guy I can't say, Kiao. I need to do some Googling of these. Talking of Googling, by the way, I did Google, just for my own sanity, how to say beta, because so many people were saying, Kev, say beta. I checked. It's definitely beta if you're English. If you're American, it's beta. If you're English, it's beta. If you don't believe me, I urge you to Google it. And if you still argue, I'll Google it myself and put it in the next video. This is a fruity little camera angle, and it's a set piece that very nearly leads to Jamie Vardy opening the scoring at that far post. It's a flick on that Vardy can't quite tuck away. What a useful graphic that is. XG then, we can see that we're absolutely dominating for XG. We've got an XG of 1.65 so far compared to Tottenham's 0.12. Which, if I know anything about XG, and I'm sure you'll agree, I know something about XG, we should have scored. We should be ahead in this game. And we've got two choices here, whether we continue to motivate or be a little bit critical that we've not actually scored. I think because it's Tottenham, and Tottenham are quite a good side, I can't pump fists and say I'm happy with your performance so far. I'll outstretch my arms and do that. I am happy with the performance so far. But we might throw a couple of shouts in as the half goes on, because we really do need to be looking in terms of grabbing a goal, because we've been so dominant, not just with XG. If you look at all the stats, we have absolutely ruined Tottenham here so far. We just need to find a breakthrough. I'm going to demand more. Really, I'd like to press get creative or show some passion. Neither of them are on there. They've both been removed from the FM20 shouts. So we need to work out what our new 10 minutes of passion are. I think there's one called Fire Up, but what's the new equivalent of Get Creative, which was often what I'd use in situations like this, just to try and pick the lock of teams that, I mean, we're playing a Jose Mourinho team. They've come here and they're just defending, and it's very annoying. And here's Gareth Bale, who Emerson's taken the ball off of without any trouble at all, and Origi, who I'll probably bring Maddison on in the very near future for Divock Origi, just to get Maddison involved. But Tielemans has done well there in midfield. Ball over the top for Vardy, and what a finish from Jamie Vardy. That is what I want to be seeing this season. Superb pass from Tielemans, and a lovely first-time finish on the volley from Jamie Vardy. Lovely stuff. And it's Leicester 1, Tottenham 0, and Dele Alli's injured. My goodness, what a pass this is. Tielemans goes past his man, floats the ball forward. I mean, immediately I look at that and I think you didn't see that goal on FM20. That's new. That's a new goal for FM21, and it's utterly beautiful. Is there suspicions of offside here? There is, but I mean, he's well onside. Even at 33, we know how quick Jamie Vardy is, and he used his pace there to get past his man and absolutely leather it past the Tottenham goalkeeper. Right, we are going to bring on Maddison now, amongst others. So Maddison my assistant manager thinks Harvey Barnes is the man to bring on in this situation. My assistant manager must remember me from my Tottenham days. I think that's an acceptable substitution. Now, this is where we look at this and we're like, who's tired? Tielemans is tired, but we don't. I mean, is that the equivalent of a 70% or a 40%? How seriously do we need to take that partly filled heart? And we don't actually have a central midfielder on the bench. I mean, we could bring Joaquin on to play in Ndidi's role and push Ndidi forward, which if I knew that was desperation time, I probably would. Castagna's also tiring. We've got Justin who can come on and play it right back. I think for now we'll make that change. We're going to give Tielemans another 5 minutes maybe, and I don't want to break him, but at the same time, the idea of bringing Joaquin on and playing him as a midfielder this early in my Leicester career, I don't want to get the reputation as a crazy person, but I think it's going to be unavoidable. Oh, what is happening here? Right, if we put him in there and make him a box-to-box, can he be an advanced playmaker? We want to keep a playmaker involved, and he can just slot in there and do that. That's going to have to be okay. And then the problem is we can't do shouts with the big screen on, so we can only really do shouts from here. If we jump that back on, we can then drop a shout in. I'm not even sure what I want to shout. At 1-0, I'm a little bit loath to praise too much because they could get big heads. We don't want them to get big heads. But at the same time, I feel like I should be saying something and not just leaving them to it. Oconye's been quiet for his debut, but that's a lovely pass through to Emerson, who's in a crossing position here, and we can't quite send it goalwards, but it's back with Joaquin. Told you he was a midfield player, and finds Ndidi. Joaquin again to Ndidi again. These two are just, I mean, they're both thinking, I'm the defensive midfielder. No, I'm the defensive midfielder. And here is James Maddison, who's recovering from injury, but looks sharp. Ndidi's there, and the header goes just over. We have looked so good in this game. 2.34 versus the 0.12. If we're looking at XG, Tottenham have had one shot on target. Proper Mourinho football from Tottenham, but we also know with proper Mourinho football, there's every chance they're going to score a filthy goal in the 89th minute and ruin our day and come away with a point, and he'll be like, oh yeah, this is exactly what I was looking for. Good Mourinho impression there, I know. I came in for a draw, I got a draw. I'm a genius. Yeah, all right, Jose. Right, Emerson is getting loads of space on this left-hand side. Cross comes in, it's bobbling around. We've had at least 2 bites of the cherry in there, and no one's been able to force it over the line. Our XG's going through the roof. We should have scored more goals than we have. Origi's going to be rubbing his hands for the potential of getting into this team as a striker at some point. And because although Vardy had an excellent finish for his goal, I can't help but think there should have been at least one more. And this is where Tottenham get their filthy goal. Oh, thankfully, Schmeichel is equal to it, but there's 5 minutes of time added on yet, and we need to be very wary that we don't let them back in. And I am very conscious that I'm playing on an attacking mentality still. It's just my way. Justin on the right hand side, cross comes in. It's not really dealt with. It's back with Justin. Oconye's got loads of space and scores on his debut. I said he'd been a little bit quiet, but that's what you spend £20 million on, and it's Leicester 2, Tottenham 0. What a start to life here in Leicester with a 2-0 win against a team who would have very much been going into this season with similar aspirations to us. We're both looking for Champions League finishes. I imagine the media thinking they're more likely to get one than we are, but we've absolutely put a marker down here on the first day of the season. Very new look side. They're still getting used to how each other plays, but we have absolutely ruined Spurs here with some beautiful football, and I really can't complain with how this has gone. It's been wonderful. Emerson across to Kaglar. That's the one thing that hasn't gone well. Kev's pronunciations. Schmeichel back out to him again. And then Schmeichel plays it forward, looking for Maddison. It actually ends up with JB Vardy, who's got the opportunity to run at the Spurs defender. Slots it in beautifully for Maddison. It's got to be 3, and it is. 3-0 now. I mean, part of me thinks it flatters us, but you look at the XG and it really doesn't. We've absolutely deserved 3 goals in this game, if not more. We'll have a look on the XG again in a second, but we've been fantastic. This is a proper Leicester goal, ball over the top, Vardy to chase. And I mean, I don't remember Jamie Vardy playing passes like that too often, but puts it into the pass of Maddison beautifully. And it's the first goal of the season for Maddison as well. And you know what? Our XG's 3.44. Tottenham should be happy they got away with only 3-0 there. What a performance. Let's get out there. And what's the happiest expression I can do? Is that outstretched arms? It is. I'm very happy with the way we played. If we play like that all year, we'll win the league this year. Beautiful stuff. Right, who do we play next? Brighton. Should be easy peasy. So no change for the Brighton game then. Why would we? We just ruined Spurs. It does mean Maddison's going to have to be happy with a spot on the bench again. But to be fair, even a week later, he's still showing as only being ready for 45 minutes of action. So I don't actually know what James Maddison's injury was. He had a hip injury and was out for 2 months, clearly easing himself back in slowly, which is fine. We've already seen him come in and score a goal. And to be fair, keeping him away from the team and avoiding drawing too much attention to him while the transfer window is still open is probably no bad thing, because he's a player who lots of people have warned me could be stolen off of me early on in this save. Although the one that's been linked with a move in the media is Ndidi. He's just been linked with a £54 million move to Tottenham, which alarms me a little bit. Right, let's pick up where we left off last time out. It's interesting working out which is it expressions? Is that what they call it? Motions, crazy arm movements. Which ones of them pair up with which team talks? Unlike on previous versions of Football Manager, you can't aggressively say well done. It limits what you can actually say based on I guess what makes sense, so you don't look like a complete lunatic. Throwing a water bottle at someone while screaming well done in their face is no longer there as an option, which I guess is fair enough. Although for me, I'd quite like the option of being able to do it. Like there, I wanted to be able to pump fists and say keep doing what you were doing, because I think they pair quite nicely. Who a Football Manager to tell me I can't be motivational whilst pumping my fists? Right, Origi playing it back to Emerson. I mean, it's some risky play from Origi there, but it's worked beautifully. He's released a Kone, he plays it into Vardy, who I think's onside again, and he's done a little chip. It's a little chip. Have you ever seen a goal like that in Football Manager before? That was sensational from Vardy. I mean, let's not discount how well Origi plays there. Kone gets the counter-attack moving nicely. Vardy using his pace again to stay onside, but that finish is ridiculous. Welcome to FM21. It's clearly Jamie Vardy's little hangout spot. Vardy loves FM21, and I love this front three. I know I can't not play Maddison. He'll have to get into the midfield, but then we've got Uar in there. But having the pace on this front three, you saw there in that counter-attack. We know how strong Leicester can be on a counter-attack, but with Vardy, Origi and Ikone as a front three, we are lightning quick going forward, and we just ripped Brighton apart with pace there. And so, I mean, again, don't discount what Origi did. Some lovely skill and composure from him to release Ikone in the first place. But from that point on, it was all pace and then just audacious talent from Vardy with the finish. Castagna now on the right-hand side. Have we got time for another one before half-time? He's been fouled there, I think, although it's Lallana who's come away with the injury, and Brighton are in behind here, and obviously Castagna's been caught further forward, and it has left us a little bit exposed. You know I love an attacking fullback, but if they lose the ball there, I still think he was fouled. If he's not fouled in a situation like that, it leaves a huge space. Brighton have exploited it, and I've only got myself to blame there. Well, in fact, no, I've got Timothy Castagna to blame there. He shouldn't have lost the ball. Who gets tackled by Adam Lallana? An injured Adam Lallana. Goodness me. So, half-time, as you can see, we're being robbed at the moment on the XG. We should be ahead. We should be very disappointed with ourselves that we're not. I mean, it's almost throwing water bottle territory. I don't think it is. I don't want to go... sometimes the assistant recommendation is not making sense, because I think we need to go more in terms of, I want to pump fists, say we've been the better team here. They didn't let me pump fists before, and I didn't like it. We have been the better team. We need to go out there and actually show that we're the better team in this second half. And if that means getting James Maddison involved. We'll get James Maddison involved because Origi, despite his lovely little bit of skill for the goal, is the one player who doesn't appear to be performing very well in that attack. I'm going to fire them up. We'll try that team talk or shout or whatever we call them. We've got a corner here, but before we take it, I am just going to get Maddison on for Origi. Although, again, I'm being recommended to bring on somebody else. Nobody likes James Maddison. In fact, I guess the logic there is we can then bring Maddison on in midfield. So what we might do is this. Get Maddison on in here, where he can play that deep line playmaker role, and he can come on that left-hand side. I think primarily he would be a right winger. Doesn't seem to make much difference. I'm going to leave Akoni where he is because he's been a threat, and we'll do that. Hopefully we score from this corner. In swinger. Origi's there. It falls to Vardy at the far post. I'm not sure why it's Origi at the near post. It should be my centre-backs on that near post. You've seen me do corners before, and now it's Brighton with the corner. This is not a good sign. Luckily, that one goes over. We need a goal here. It's not really acceptable for us to beat Tottenham the way we did and then come here and lose. There, we've hit the crossbar from a set piece. Brighton have got Danny Welbeck coming on. We need to counter that with a substitution of our own. Who have we got on the bench who can come on and make a difference? I mean, Kelechi and Nacho's there going, me boss. Sit down, Kelechi. Goodness me. We're going to bring on Harvey Barnes for Akone and switch over to this way round, which is how we were going to be playing before we made the transfers. And we've already demanded more, haven't we? We have. We just need a breakthrough, really. And it is us with the throw. It's Castagna who's got some making up to do. It's his fault that we're not winning this game. Although you could also blame the strikers for only scoring the one goal. Vardy scored 2 fantastic goals and been entirely absent for the rest of the 2 games. Is this standard Jamie Vardy things? Castagna in behind. Cross comes out. It's a low-driven cross and really deserved better because it was a lovely idea to get the ball in low and quick, but we weren't able to apply the finish. And now we've lost the ball again. Brighton have won it back off of us, and this time, thankfully, we don't end up giving it away. Castagna way forward again, skips past his man. Beautiful stuff. And under again. He's had 2 big chances in this final 10 minutes and has missed them both. Emerson with the throw, probably for the final roll of the dice. It falls to Emerson again from the clearance, and Didi all the way back to Rodrigo Chiao. Emerson and plays it into Barnes. Barnes goes past his man. This is good skill from Barnes. Barnes back to Emerson. We've got men in the middle waiting for the cross. Cross does come in. There is Barnes, and there's your goal. In the 92nd minute, it's Harvey Barnes with his first goal of the season. There's some competition for places on the left-hand side of this midfield, and Barnes did really well there. He made the opportunity, did well to get into that position, plays it out to Emerson, finds a new pocket of space for himself, and he's there with the first time finish to that near post. And at 2-1 with, 20 seconds of the game left, I think we're probably home and dry, and it's another good result. Back-to-back wins to start life here at Leicester. Cannot complain about that at all. Lovely stuff. Look at that league table. Absolutely beautiful. Right. We are going to be back again at 4 p.m. today, because you lot are working me to the bone. Remember, we want to get to that like target before we do. If you want to see me looking ridiculous with blue hair, I don't know how many games I'm going to get played between now and then. We are in the Europa League, aren't we? But we don't seem to have had a draw for it yet. So if we get a Europa League draw, we might show a Europa League game. Otherwise, we might do probably no more than 3 or 4 games as we start to settle in and maybe come back for Southampton and City, or something around there coming at the end of October. I think that's probably a reasonable spot to come back when I've only got a 5-hour turnaround time. But once again, thank you for the support on episode 1, and hopefully again on episode 2. It has been a reaction like no other I've ever seen, and I really do appreciate it. And if you've enjoyed this one too, make sure you leave a thumbs up on this one as well. If you've not pre-ordered the game yet, my link is still down in the description below for instant access to the beta. Make sure you subscribe, notifications on, all that kind of stuff, so you don't miss out on the daily content you're going to be getting throughout the beta. Probably a couple of episodes a day most days, and of course streams most evenings as well. And thank you very much for watching.